Welcome back after the break. You're watching Australian Cold Chain on Import Export TV. It's my pleasure today to introduce you all to Brett Lynch, the newly appointed CEO of Scott's Refrigerated Logistics. Congratulations on your new role at Scott's RL, Brett.
Thanks, Marianne. It's been 2 weeks into the role now, and as I said earlier, I've been visiting all of our sites and some of our key customers to learn about the business and people, but really excited about the role personally and then what we can do as a business to make us a better business and more customer focused and have success in that space. So looking forward to 2021.
Fantastic. Are you feeling rather keen and excited at 2021 as it's looking at the moment?
Well, it has to be better than 2020, I hope. Looking forward to next year. The business is, as some people would be aware, has been through a tumultuous few years with change of ownerships, and it's been on the block for sale for a few years, and that's just finally transacted. So we can now decide what our future is and what I'll call our business direction is going to be. We're an amalgamation of a number of businesses that have been put together or merged. We've now got to form up as one identity and, more importantly, one direction. So we'll be spending the next few months doing that, deciding what our strategy and direction is, and then resetting accordingly. So 2021 is going to be a big year for us.
It will indeed. Looking forward to it with you. So the first question, what attracted you to the role and what do you see as the opportunity for you and the business?
Okay. What attracted me to the role was something new and different. So I'd been at my last role in the last company for a long time, so I wanted something different. The second piece was I've been saying to people close to me over the last few years that I wanted a business that was broken, and Scott's is broken but a lot of good fundamentals. So yes. That attracted me, that there's a significant challenge with a lot of unknowns. I wanted to be out of my comfort zone. So the personal challenge was that element, and then the business challenges is, as I touched on before, there's 4 businesses that have been put together a few years ago, but they've never been integrated. They've never had one common purpose, one common system, one common anything. So the challenge and the opportunity is to bring together the workforce and the business and therefore our service to our customers into a more consolidated, integrated piece. That's what I'm really looking forward to. I like fixing things, so I like improving things with people or as a team. So that's what attracted me to the role, and that's what's making the forward-looking position so much fun, to be honest.
That's great.
Fixing things with people.
If you could fix 2020, we'd all be very pleased.
Yes, well, I was in Melbourne for a good chunk of 2020 in lockdown, so looking forward to a little more freedom next year.
Absolutely, you and me both. So moving on from that, Scott's RL is a recent name change for the group that you just mentioned, and it's brought together some of the diverse businesses. What advantage do you see with the new look business will offer customers?
The first piece that we offer customers already and will continue to enhance is just a national footprint. So we operate in every state in the country. We've got multiple sites in every state. So we've got a national footprint of refrigerated trucks and warehouses. And the customer site that I'm sitting at as we speak values that. They pointed that out, that they've got a one-stop shop themselves where they can just go to one player and get all of their product moved and stored around the country. So that's probably our preeminent piece that we really got to leverage and make sure we do well and service our customers well to jump into further growth. The other piece is that our equipment, some of it's a bit tired, but we've got a capital plan that will see that regenerated and reinvigorated over the next 12 months.
Excellent.
Where we invest, and the new owners want to invest and have bought on the back of investing in the business, so it upgrades its fleet and its warehouses. They're the 2 key pieces that give us a competitive advantage in the market, in the sense that we've got a national footprint and we've got equipment that will ensure that the product, whether it's frozen or chilled or whatever it is controlled at the right temperature for our customers. That's a critical piece, particularly with the short life that a lot of products now have. They've got a very short shelf life, so temperature control and quality is critical. I heard that again today at this particular customer site I'm at. So they're the 2 key pieces I'd call out up front.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. So this year, as we've said, has been particularly challenging with the COVID pandemic. What has that meant for Scott's RL, and what lessons have been learned about the business as a result?
2020 has been a challenging year for Scott's and the wider Australian economy and community. Mm-hmm. The first piece I'll call out is that we service the food industry, food producers primarily. And there's probably two components I'm already starting to see. Those that were in the retail space, there was a run on food, as everyone would know in Australia. Panic buying occurred, so supermarkets were becoming empty, warehouses were becoming empty, producers ramped up production, and I'm hearing stories of double, triple production occurred for a period there.
That's right.
And then it settled down. So that part of our business and our customer base ramped up significantly and very quickly. So that was a good problem. We had a business, we were able to operate, and we had a lot of product to move. The other part, though, was around the hospitality industry. So a significant part of our customer base is in the food services / hospitality regime, and in parts of Australia, such as Victoria, that's shut down. So a lot of our customers have done it tough. So COVID meant, a two-speed business for us, where part of it was running a lot faster and part of it was almost coming to a grinding halt. So as a business, it was challenging in a number of fronts. It's pleasing to say we didn't lay anyone off. So because of that two-speed piece that we encountered, we were able to redeploy people around our business because of customer demand was strong enough that we didn't lay anyone off. We went through an ownership change, and that ownership is bringing a much more direct, singular focus to what the business is, which is just one identity and what that means going forward. So we're now looking forward to the next few years in terms of what we're going to look like as a business and how we're going to operate. So it's been a really challenging year for our workforce. They've gone from normal to really busy, back to normal, through an ownership change. So hopefully 2021 is a bit more stable for our workforce and the wider Australian community.
I will hope that with you, for sure. No, that's a great rundown. Thank you. Looking toward the future, and as one of the leading participants in the cold chain industry, what do you feel we'll all need to focus on post-2020?
Good question. I just think, at a personal level, COVID has made us all think about how we work as an individual and as a team. A lot of work sites don't have all of their workforce back to work. So 2 weeks in the role, and I became aware that one small part of our team is now permanently based at home. COVID showed that team could work permanently based at home. So, and for those individuals, that's a really good win, because they've got most of them have got families, so they've got a much better work-life balance, and they've got a few hours back in the day not having to navigate Sydney traffic 2 to 3 hours a day. Mm-hmm. So there's just that piece around people are working in different ways. So how do you operate as a team in different ways, knowing that, it's not all face-to-face any longer in the same office, or, travel's taken a different shape. I started 2 weeks ago, and if I'd started 2 months ago, I couldn't have started my job. I was in lockdown in Melbourne, couldn't get out to operational sites, so I couldn't have met the business and met the customers. So, that's going to look differently going forward. I think, the food industry and some of the challenges that the food industry faced, I think back to my Melbourne time, where a number of abattoirs had high levels of infection with COVID. So yes. What I'm getting at there is that the quality of the systems and processes and procedures and so on has got to increase, because the pandemic has shown that it can wreak havoc on certain parts of an industry if you don't have the right standards in place. So that is going to be elevated. So I can already see and feel that our customers are asking for higher levels of quality standards and procedures and equipment. And they're asking for greater transparency. So as an industry, I think that's something that we've got to go to another level with, to ensure that we're meeting higher quality, because Australia does have a very, very good standing in the wider global economy around our food, and our quality needs to be up at the same level in terms of maintaining integrity of the food and the cold chain responsibility with that. So,
sure. I'd agree with that. I think no better sector than the temperature control warehouses and transport within Australia to be, the word pivot, to move from one thing to another in a very fast fashion, to make sure that all government requirements are met, all safety requirements and workplace health and safety specific are not just met but overseen as a massive priority. I think that's been a really clear message that it can be done, it has been done, and with a bit of class and style in the meantime.
Yeah, just hearing some of the numbers of the products and the volumes that we're moving at the moment coming into the Christmas rush, but Australians love pavlovas. We've moved 2 million pavlovas in the last few weeks. Turkeys are getting delivered to stores. So imagine Christmas without those products coming into people's homes because quality standards weren't adequate, and a pandemic had impacted it. So it's just an example of how we've got to improve as a country, as an industry and as a business to make sure that we don't suffer going forward because of whatever pandemics look like in the future, because there will be more. It's pretty safe to say.
I agree. So having been in the role now for not quite a month, this may be a tough question, but can you tell me what you feel you can bring to the industry, and in particular how that leadership will benefit Scott's RL?
Yeah, good question. In terms of the industry, I've been in logistics for 10 years, different part of logistics, which is rail-based. Now I'm in the road-based. So I've been working on a number of road-to-rail projects, and now I've got to reverse that trend and bring it from rail to road. But the benefit of working in a business like Pacific National was just the size and scale and some of the process and systems. So I think that's one thing that I'll be looking to bring to Scott's, just some of that big business structure or frameworks without bringing any bureaucracy. I don't like bureaucracy. So how do we bring some of the good things of a big business into a medium-sized business is the first thing. The other piece that I'll probably, I've joined Scott's because I see the challenge, and I love, as I said, improving businesses with the team. So really looking forward to consolidating and creating that identity and that story with my team so that everyone understands what we're trying to achieve, because that is not clear right now. Then hopefully making it clear what each team or individual's role is in pursuing that business direction or strategy, so that, we all know what we're trying to achieve on a day-by-day, week-by-week basis, and they can feel part of something, because they clearly haven't felt part of something for a while. So looking forward to creating that team environment where, we've got something we're aiming for, and then we bit by bit achieve that, and that will hopefully bring a great deal of satisfaction. And ultimately, the story we'll always try and share is, strategy means what we're trying to achieve. And then if we're successful in achieving that strategy, it means job security for people. So really personalising what a company strategy can mean on a personal level. It means that you've got job security and you can support your family and you can put your kids through school and all of those personal needs that we've all got. I've got 3 teenage boys, so that's a big driving factor for me, getting them set up for adulthood and so on. So I've got personal needs that drive me, and hopefully everyone can understand what their role is to play so that satisfies their personal needs.
I think you've touched on a really good point there too, Brett, that the cold chain, temperature control, warehouses and transport together, it can be a career. It can be something that you can start in when you're 17 years old, and 35 years later you're still there with the passion, doing something different, exciting, and it leads through a lifetime. And so for people to feel safe and as if there's more work to come and there's places for them to go, that's a fantastic place to actually be pushing them into. That's great.
Yeah, it's a real challenge for our industry, which is attracting people to our industry. It doesn't have a high profile like some other industries. So I think as an industry, we need to figure that out. How do we attract train drivers and warehouse operators to what is not a glamorous industry? And how do we show people that there's jobs here and there's security here, and then there's also career paths? Some of the team I've already met are, 30, 40-year veterans in Scott's or in the wider industry, and they've gone from a truck driver through to something else to a estate manager. So there's pathways there for people to do different roles and progress in whatever pathway they choose, but there's opportunities. Scott's is a reasonable sized business of about 2,000 people, so there's lots of different roles that people can pursue, and it's like that in a lot of road transport companies.
Sure. With the RWTA, we've got just leading into that Frank Vale Award, which is the Future Leaders, and Scott's and Rand, etc., had been part of that in years gone by, and this is all part of growing the industry and making it sexy again. So,
yeah, I saw that Frank Vale Award fly around by email yesterday, so I've asked around who was some young talent that we could put up for such an award and just get them a profile inside the business and hopefully outside the business.
Sounds fantastic. Thank you, Brett, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and I'm excited to see the continued growth of Scott's RL in 2021.
Thanks, Marianne. Thanks for the time and hope you have a great Christmas.
Been a delight meeting with you and speaking with you today. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for being part of this. We'll be back after the break with better storage systems.